So let's get one thing straight. I love Christmas. I love the vibes. I love the lights. I love dressing up in my pajamas and matching with my family and taking Christmas photos. But honestly, for a long time, every January after Christmas, I found myself feeling stressed and broke. And I found myself trying to figure out how did I spend as much money on Christmas as I would save throughout the entire year. And the goal of this video is to kind of talk about how we fall into the holiday trap for Christmas and how we can get back to how we used to feel about Christmas when we was a kid. When you used to wake up every morning excited, ready to enjoy your family, and how Christmas used to give you an emotional recharge and then have you feeling refreshed for the rest of the year. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how Christmas became a trap and how you can get out of that trap and get to feeling how you used to feel about Christmas. So let's get one thing straight. Christmas is a financial trap, and it happens slowly throughout the year. You might set a budget at the beginning of the year for $300 on Christmas, but you'll walk into the store and then you find yourself buying pajamas for $20, and then you go and purchase that Christmas breakfast that might cost you another $75, and then you start to rack up on small toys. I don't know, maybe a race car for your kid, maybe some Nerf guns, and then you put your eyes on something even bigger, like a remote control car that costs $200, a tablet, an Apple Watch. It starts slow and it just snowballs into this uncontrollable thing that you didn't think you was getting into when you first started shopping. And how does this happen? The first thing is companies spend billions of dollars every year, and I mean billions of dollars, to be able to flood all parts of your life. So they're going to be constantly flooding your social media feed. Every time you scroll up something, you're going to see happy kids playing with toys. You're going to see families and photos. Everything's going to be geared towards you purchasing something for Christmas. And they're also going to be hitting you with the online trap. You're going to see so many flash sales saying, hey, we got things that's 80% off, 60% off, 50% off. And you can't miss this deal because it's going to make life easier for you when Christmas roll around. I mean, let's use Black Friday as an example. Black Friday has gotten so big that I get every Black Friday off of work, so I can spend more money to shop for Christmas. Even our jobs have bought into the fact that we should be spending money on Christmas, and they give us the day off to do it. It's really starting to get ridiculous. And then on top of that, they start to feed into your emotion. They start to make you feel guilty if you don't purchase gifts for somebody. This year, my job is doing the Secret Santa, and we're all expected to buy someone a gift, and that's if you know that person or not. You draw a hat, you spend money, and it's just falling and rotating and growing into this ridiculous trap that we fall into year after year after year. Well, you're probably wondering why I think Christmas keeps us broke. Well, first of all, it's the perfect time of the year for companies to take advantage of this. And you know why? It's because they know how much we love our families. And they know if we don't get our family members the perfect gift, we're going to start to feel guilty. And that guilt is just going to eat at us and eat at us. And sometimes my family member might buy me something that's $100. And the year before, I might only spend $20 or maybe for some socks or a tie. The year after that, I come back thinking, man, I can't believe my sister spent $100 on me this year. I have to spend just as much money on her next year or more. And it just becomes a competition, and we're constantly spending more and more money. So yeah, firstly, you start emotionally spending. You start to lose all logic about your budget, what you really should be spending on something. And you start to think, man, I know my mom is really going to love this gift. And no matter how much it costs, I'm going to spend that money to see her smile. Or man, I know when my kid wakes up and sees this monster truck in our den, he's going to go crazy. It's so easy to use your emotions against you during this time of the year. And companies just take advantage of that. Reason number 2 is kind of like identity holiday pressure. When you start to say, I'm only a good husband if I buy my wife this type of gift, or I'm only a good father if I spend X amount of money on my kid for Christmas. The truth is, love and finances rarely ever match up together. Your kid's never gonna look back 15 years later and think, man, I really loved Christmas because my dad spent $400 on me this year. Or man, I really loved Christmas because all of us was matching and we got the perfect Christmas picture. That's just never gonna happen. We also find ourselves going broke during Christmas time because we rarely set budgets for Christmas, right? And then on top of that, we rarely plan for Christmas ahead of time. We plan for everything else. We plan for traveling across the country. We plan for buying school clothes for our kids. We plan even for budgeting how much we're gonna spend on groceries month to month. But we never really truly budget out how much we're gonna spend on Christmas, how that's gonna look, and what's our boundaries and limits once Christmas gets here. And then finally, and honestly, this kind of deals with inflation, Christmas traditions is getting expensive. I mean, ridiculously expensive. First, buying pajamas for a family of 5 can easily get up to $100, $150, and nobody includes those types of things in their budget. Buying a family breakfast. This year, I might have over 20 people coming to my house for Christmas, and that's buying grits, bacon, eggs, all of that thing for 20 people. I went to Sam's the other day, and honestly, a 2-pack of bacon was $18. Christmas traditions is starting to get more and more expensive each year, and the older you get and the more money you get, the more you think that you need to spend on Christmas. It's really starting to get out of hand. And honestly, for years, I found myself falling into this holiday cycle of where after December, I go into January thinking, man, I can't believe I spent this much money on Christmas. I probably used to spend over half the amount I saved per year just on Christmas alone. And then I would pile all that money on my credit cards. Around February or March, I would finally start making progress on paying those credit cards off. During June, I would finally be finished with paying those credit cards off, and then I would start saving money again. But guess what's rolling around in August, November? Black Friday. And then guess what I'm doing? Back to putting debt on my credit card. Back to overspending on gifts. Back to December, which just leads me back into January of me stressing and overspending in order to make people feel happy, even though that's not even what's really making them happy. It's more about connections and the time that you spend with the people that you love, but we constantly get the misconception that Christmas is only special when we spend an absurd amount of money. And to be real with you, there was a few years in my life where I absolutely dreaded, almost every single holiday. I started to dread Thanksgiving. I started to dread Christmas. I started to stop looking forward to things like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, because I knew that I was just going to have to constantly put myself in debt in order to keep up with the Joneses. So I had to step back, reflect on what I was doing in my life, and make a plan on how I needed to start attacking holidays in order to leave holidays with the type of joy that I used to have when I was younger. Now, whenever holidays come around, I follow some strict rules, and these are some of those rules. First, I set a realistic budget for myself. So at the beginning of every year, I decide I'm gonna spend X amount of money on Christmas. And we're gonna use simple numbers like $1,200. If I was gonna spend $1,200 on Christmas, every year I auto draft that $100 into an account that I have designated for holiday spending, and I put that $100 away for Christmas every single month, right? And when I get to Christmas time, if Christmas is gonna cost more than $1,200, then I'm sorry, we just can't do it. We're gonna start to have to disconnect from buying expensive gifts and shift more to buying things that are more experience heavy. So once I hit my budget of the $1,200, we start to shift from material things to things that we can enjoy and experience together. For example, this Christmas, I'm having everybody come over. We have an itinerary of things that we're going to be doing. So at 9 o'clock, we're going to be opening gifts. And the gifts don't have to be expensive. A lot of times it's going to be Secret Santa gifts that we have to set a budget on. Then after that, we're going to be playing games together as a family. We're going to have a nice breakfast. And everybody pitches in. So my mom might bring the pancakes. We may cook things like grits, eggs, bacon. And my sister-in-law, she may bring something else like desserts. We make sure that we kind of share the burden of the financials together. So we're making sure that we're sticking to that budget yearly. And then we transition to what we all agreed on as a family, to setting a budget for Secret Santa. Yes. So we've already talked about exactly how much we are going to spend on each other. We hit that max limit, and if you fall under that limit, it's okay. If you go maybe a tad bit over that limit, it's okay. But the plan is to make sure that we're not overburdening each other financially. We want it to be about the gift itself and you going out and making sure you're spending time thinking about me instead of how much the gift costs. It's not about the cost of the gifts, it's about the love behind the gift that you give. I've also shifted from all of my gifts being expensive and thoughtless to having more thought behind all the gifts that I give. And to be real with you, most of the gifts that I've loved the most over the years have been cheap gifts. Like, for example, I don't know if you can see this cup, but this is a cup that my son got me for Father's Day. I use this cup every day. It probably cost him like 10, 12 bucks, you know? It's not even expensive, but it's something that I love because I know he doesn't have a lot of money, but he spent the time to go to the store and find something for his dad that he knew his dad would love. Those types of things mean more to me than expensive gifts could mean any day. So we just gotta shift from thinking about the more I spend on the gift, the more they're gonna love it. That's not true. It's the more thought you put behind the gift. That's the gifts that they're gonna love the most. We've also learned how to limit spending on decor. And the main thing we do to prevent our decor budget getting extravagant is every year we buy containers, we label those containers Christmas, and guess what? All the stockings that we bought the year before, all the lights that we bought the year before, anything of excess that we have for last Christmas, we put it in that bin, we put it in the attic, and every December we bring it out and we reuse those stockings, we reuse those lights, we buy a tree that's reusable, we don't buy trees that you have to go and pluck every year. Every single year we're reusing our decor in order to reduce that budget. And the final and probably the most important thing that I implemented into my holiday plan is to focus on connections and less on consumption. Because look, when I reflect back on my life, I never remember all the expensive things that my parents bought me. And I'm sure they bought me very expensive things over the years. But what I remember is staying up late, making cookies with my mom so we can lay them out for Santa when Santa comes to drop our Christmas gifts off. Or I remember things like making breakfast with my mom in the morning prior to us even opening up the gifts. To be real with you, looking back on my life, the gifts is the last thing that I ever think of. And I especially don't think about the amount of money that my parents spent on those gifts. So my goal in life now is to think about all the connections and all the experiences and all the perfect moments that I can have with my family instead of investing so much time and so much energy into trying to find different ways to buy them something expensive that they're not going to care about 1, 2, 3, or 4 years from now. We all have to shift our mindset to realize that swiping credit cards doesn't make any experiences in life better. It's the time that you spend with your family, the amount of effort that you put into giving them that gift, and making everybody realize that the most special moments in life is the moments that you spend together. So if you have holiday tips that you want to share, drop them in the comments. And also, if you like videos like this where we talk about better ways to attack things like holidays or even financial tips, make sure you watch this video as well.